States have started to ban the adding of fluoride into municipal water. And I am fine with that. Other nutrients aren't added to water. Water should be just water. But now there is a call by the Department of Health and Human Services to ban fluoride prescriptions. And I do have a problem with that. So let's talk about it. Hey everybody, I'm Dr. David Berger, a board-certified pediatrician in Tampa, Florida. I'm all about making healthy kids, focusing on optimizing nutrition, minimizing toxicity, optimizing microbiome. Just all those things lead to healthier kids and healthier people. Today we're going to be talking about fluoride. And I would like to refer you back to a video that I recently did about fluoride in drinking water. And I have put the link in the show notes down below. But today we're not talking about it in the water. I guess we will a little bit to kind of explain it a little bit more, because there is no other vitamin, mineral, or nutrient added to our water. Again, as I said, water is water. That's what it should be. And of course, part of the issue if a person does drink a lot of water, if a kid drinks a lot of water, which is healthier than the juices and the sodas that have sugar in it, is the more water you drink, the more fluoride you get. And I do think it is kind of ironic that perhaps the people who need additional fluoride, those who aren't drinking sugary drinks, are the people who may be getting exposed to it the most because it's in the water as opposed to the sugary drinks. Now, recently, the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said, ending the use of ingestible fluoride is long overdue. And he has referred to fluoride as industrial waste. Now, there certainly are concerns about neurodevelopmental problems that could be happening from this, especially when people are consuming higher amounts. But it is also true that fluoride does prevent cavities. Now, the FDA, as a result of this, has said that they are going to be doing a complete safety review and public comment by October 31st of this year, after which appropriate actions regarding the removal of these products. Now, why would you be doing a safety review if you've already concluded that you're going to be taking actions to remove this? I don't know, but I am certainly all for more studies. And I don't think that enough studies have been done on this. And I think it's an important matter. But based upon his comments, it sounds like the jury has already made up its mind before hearing evidence. And that's just not the way things are supposed to be going, and especially in terms of medicine, right? So I don't know. It just seems like, why are we making that decision? Because, you know, the concern is, besides of neurodevelopmental issues with fluoride, especially higher amounts, that there can be microbiome disruption, the good flora that we have in our mouth, in our intestines, etc. But why do I disagree with this move? Because we're not just talking about exposure. We're talking about a prescription, something that only a patient can get if prescribed by a medical healthcare practitioner, someone with a medical license who can prescribe things. Now, in the comments that I made in that video, as well as under other interviews that I've given, and why I was supportive of taking fluoride out of the water, is because I always assumed that in cases of need where the benefit outweighed the risk, that a doctor would be able to prescribe the fluoride where you know exactly how much that the child is getting per dose, per day, different than drinking the water. Now, if the only way that a patient could get it by a clinician and then it was banned, that won't be an option. Every medical decision that a provider makes, that a parent makes, should be weighing the potential benefit versus the potential risk. Okay? It shouldn't be one size fits all. Now, of course, there's no doubt people should be eating better, avoiding sugary content, especially things like high fructose corn syrup, lots of sugar, getting their carbohydrates from complex carbs, eating fruits, not fruit juices, vegetables, etc. And so, of course, that is a necessity. And I preach that all the time. But you know what? Sometimes people can't afford more healthy foods. Unfortunately, the cheapest food are the ultra-processed foods. Underserved communities may not be able to get to the dentist the way that other people may be able to. That potentially puts people at higher risk. Now, some parents may not even be able to get their kids to do a good toothbrushing. Have you had a toddler who may not be so good about it? And I teach families on how to do it, and I do think that brushing with like the finger, the type that go like a thimble, where if a parents are here, that they can kind of move more with it. But you know what? If a kid's doing this, unless you're using the jaws of life on them, you may not be getting the back sides of the teeth, even if you're able to do this. So, or what if it's a violent child, like an obstinate child? Some of my children with autism, there's no way you're getting near their mouth if that kid doesn't want that to happen. Okay? So, not having it available as a prescription completely flies in the face of medical choice, which I know is something that we here tend to believe that we should have. Now, but I have some other considerations for you, just even from a relative perspective. If we're concerned about the disruption of microbiome, antibiotics are much more likely to cause disruption of the microbiome. And there are some people who may even need to take antibiotics long term. Some of my pandas kids have to live on it. Right? And that's disrupting it, but we do it because the benefits outweigh the risk for this child who may be flying off the handle, OCDs, anxiety, violent behaviors with their pandas. And the antibiotics do suppress it, just like there are people who need to use it because they have rheumatic fever and have the complications of the autoimmune disease relative to that. And taking antibiotics can prevent that. Or people have holes in the heart, they need to take antibiotics. But we're not banning antibiotics. We should be judiciously using antibiotics. And yes, it's true that 70% of antibiotics prescribed for children in America are not necessary, but we're not banning them. Nor should we. They can be life-saving. Okay? But here's a little more. 300 kids per year in America do die from an auto accident involved with a drunk driver. We're not banning alcohol. 1,000 kids per year in America die from auto accidents of all causes, and we're not banning the cars. Now, and this is something very dear to my heart, but 43% of chocolate in America has lead levels that exceeds the California limits. And, it's worse than dark chocolate, which is the healthier chocolate. And don't go near my dark chocolate. Now, granted, I do try to use sources that have less, but they're still in there. We're not banning chocolate. Okay? Now, here's another one. 3,500 children, teens per year are killed by firearms in the United States. 15,000 are injured from them. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions as to that. But let me put another scenario in front of you. Let's say there's a community that does remove fluoride from their water. And a child who never had cavities all of a sudden starts developing cavities. Okay? And even if they may be brushing with fluoride toothpaste, but it can happen. Okay? Now, the doctor, the dentist, and the parents then say, hey, I think that in this particular case, the benefits do outweigh the risks. We should put this kid on prescription fluoride at a small amount, daily amount, a prescription, an amount that you know exactly how much, not too little, that a kid is getting. Okay? You know what? You can't do that if it's banned. So what's my take on all of this? First of all, I'm fine. Keep fluoride out of the water. Shouldn't be there. Okay? But and it is also fine for me for using fluoride toothpaste. I know people do avoid it, but if you're spitting it out, it's not getting internalized. It's just treating the teeth. And I don't have a problem with that. But also, we should allow physicians, allow dentists, and families to weigh the risk versus benefits and decide what's best for the individual child. And as I said, isn't that what medical choice is all about? So anyways, hope maybe you learned something here, but if this is important information, that this or other things in this channel, subscribe, share it with others. We do like to get it out there. We just passed 7,100 subscribers, so we are moving along, but really, hopefully people like what I have to say and more people want to keep listening. Anyways, with that, have a good day.